It should be the most important and dramatic election in the region. But Friday's presidential poll in Iran will not bring the reform that democracy campaigners hope for. The 8 men competing to take over from President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad are a mix of hardliners and technocrats who pose no threat to the supreme religious leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Well, Jon is in Iran tonight. Jon.
Krishnan, you know, 4 years ago, the presidential campaign here was absolutely alive in every city in Iran. The debate ranged in every shade of opinion. It was fiercely contested verbally. This year, very, very different. The debate is all but still, and there are very few people on the streets talking about it. But on the other hand, these 8 candidates, although they've been purged of, well, all perceived as troublemakers, there are differences, but they are nuanced. They're not profoundly different anyway. Tehran's traffic snarls as it's always snarled. The people wrestle in crossing the densely packed streets as they've always wrestled. But of next week's presidential election, hardly a sign. Revolution Square is dominated by an image of the supreme leader voting, but below, a washing up liquid ad is there in preference to any images of the 8 candidates. In fact, one of the few campaign posters we did find was for frontrunner Saeed Jalili, hidden in the murk of a subway entrance. He's Iran's hardline nuclear negotiator. Another candidate, an unfancied former foreign minister, well, his poster only just survives. This street, where last time competing causes zoomed up and down on motorbikes and in cars and packed the sidewalks with banners, has no sign of them at all. But back at the bazaar, amid the trading life, we did eventually find a hint of politics. Here, where food prices have suffered at least 25% inflation and meat has gone up 50% in a year, the atmosphere, though noisy, is sombre. Until we found a knot of people finally debating Mohammad Reza Aref, a reformer. Very elastic word here in Iran.
Mr. Aref is a reformist, so he believes that we don't need to go to tension with regional and global powers. If we want to have a strong economy, we need to resolve our tensions.
So how are these people voting?
I don't know.
Take any 10 people, 10 different opinions, including this man who tells us, I'm voting for me.
Well, Jon, with Iran at the centre of so many regional crises, what's at stake?
Well, so much, Krishnan, because, as you say, they are right at the centre of events. You've got Afghanistan here with Western troops about to withdraw over the next year. Afghanistan played a role there in the beginning in actually helping the Western powers to kind of secure this end of the country. Then there's Iraq over here, and that in the last month has witnessed 1,000 killings, mainly of Shia. The government there is Shia controlled. That brings Iran very much into that equation. And then, of course, most immediately, there is Syria. And Iran is very present there in all sorts of strategic ways. And so somehow, whoever comes out of this presidential election has to be involved in bringing about peace in this region. It's big, but whether any of these men are up to it, who knows?
Thanks, Jon. And, of course, we'll be hearing much more from him over the next few days.